The Florida Department of Transportation, in partnership with Lee County, welcomes you to the public hearing for the Burnt Store Road Project Development and Environment, or PD&E Study. We appreciate your attendance and participation. This public hearing is being conducted to give the public the opportunity to review and provide comments on the proposed preferred alternative and associated effects on the social, economic, cultural, natural, and physical environment. The purpose of this PD&E study is to evaluate engineering and environmental data and document information that will aid Lee County, FDOT District 1, and the FDOT Office of Environmental Management, or OEM, in determining the type, preliminary design, and location of the proposed improvements. The study begins at Buren Parkway and extends to the Charlotte County line. The study also includes a 1/4 mile section north of the Charlotte County line to connect to the existing 4-lane roadway. The total project length is approximately 5.7 miles. A portion of the roadway is within the city of Cape Coral, while the remainder is located within unincorporated Lee County. The department proposes to widen Burnt Store Road from 2 to 4 lanes, with future accommodation of 6 lanes. This segment of Burnt Store Road is the last remaining 2-lane unimproved segment of the roadway's 18-mile length from Pine Island Road to US 41. Burnt Store Road, also known as County Road 765, serves as an important north-south corridor for commuters, in addition to freight traffic, as it connects to regional transportation facilities. These include Interstate 75, US 41, and Pine Island Road. The corridor also provides access to several developments within Lee and Charlotte counties, including Burnt Store Marina. Widening Burnt Store Road will address projected travel demand as a result of area-wide growth. In addition, the proposed widening and associated multimodal improvements will address safety concerns associated with the existing 2-lane roadway and enhance emergency evacuation for this designated hurricane evacuation route. The need for the proposed improvements for Burnt Store Road is based on traffic volume projections, transportation system linkage, and safety. Existing traffic volumes range from 9,800 to 14,000 vehicles per day. Based on anticipated growth within the corridor, projected future 2045 traffic volumes range from 22,500 to 32,500 vehicles per day. By the 2045 design year, if no roadway capacity improvements are made, the corridor is anticipated to operate at a level of service F. This signifies a failing condition characterized by high level of traffic congestion and delays. At this time, this project is listed as cost feasible in 2031 to 2035 in the Lee County Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO 2045, Long-Range Transportation Plan, or LRTP. Similarly, the project from the Charlotte County line to Wallaby Lane in Charlotte County is listed as cost feasible in 2031 to 2035 in the Charlotte County Punta Gorda MPO 2045 LRTP. Within the project limits, Burnt Store Road is a 2-lane undivided facility with 12-foot travel lanes, 1 in each direction, and no paved shoulders. There are no pedestrian or bicycle facilities within the project limits, with the exception of the south and north ends, where adjacent projects added some shared use path, sidewalk, or bike lanes. The posted speed limit is 55 miles per hour. Stormwater runoff is collected in roadside ditches and swales, and there are no existing stormwater management facilities to store and treat roadway runoff. There are 2 bridges over Gator Slough Canal. The existing southbound bridge originally carried both northbound and southbound traffic. A new northbound bridge was constructed in 2019, and the original bridge was transitioned to carry 2 lanes of southbound traffic. The southbound bridge has 2 11-foot travel lanes with 9-foot shoulders on each side. Throughout this PD&E study process, FDOT has looked at many different concepts to widen Burnt Store Road from 2 to 4 lanes. After environmental and engineering analyses and public and agency comments, many of these alternatives were eliminated. The last public meeting was an alternatives public workshop held on August 30th, 2022 for the in-person option, and on September 1st, 2022 for the virtual option. At that workshop, we asked for your input on proposed improvements to Burnt Store Road. Some of the feedback received included access management concerns and the restriction of northbound turning movements from Burnt Store Marina and Vincent Avenue in particular, access management at other existing project intersections, future development access, turn lanes, and environmental impacts. Based on your comments and additional environmental and engineering analyses, a preferred alternative was selected for Burnt Store Road. The preferred alternative for Burnt Store Road results in 4 lanes with 2 11-foot travel lanes in each direction, as well as 4-foot paved inside shoulders, 7-foot paved outside shoulders, and a 40-foot grass median and 10-foot shared use paths on each side of the roadway. This alternative provides an urban typical section with curb and gutter and a closed roadway drainage system. A pipe is provided to capture offsite flows from the east and convey the water under the roadway. This alternative nearly eliminates right-of-way impacts for the roadway alignment. One unavoidable roadway impact would occur at a utility parcel just north of the Lee County line. Right-of-way is also needed for the stormwater ponds and floodplain compensation areas. Extensive engineering analysis was completed as well as coordination with Lee County, Charlotte County, and their MPOs regarding alternative intersection designs at Vincent Avenue. A continuous green T intersection was identified as the preferred intersection alternative in this location. This intersection type allows for eastbound traffic on Vincent Avenue to make a northbound, left-turning movement onto Burnt Store Road with signalization and a channelized lane to merge onto Burnt Store Road. A video further explaining how this intersection functions will play momentarily.
The existing intersection at Burnt Store Road and Vincent Avenue is a 3-legged or T intersection. Vincent Avenue, which is the minor street, is controlled by a stop sign. Northbound and southbound traffic on Burnt Store Road, the major street, is free flow. Free flow conditions can create a lack of gaps in traffic needed for northbound traffic to turn left onto Vincent Avenue. In addition, the lack of left turn lanes, the presence of trucks and vehicles with trailers, and delays associated with turning vehicles create backups on both Burnt Store Road and Vincent Avenue. This also creates potential safety concerns. The continuous green T intersection, or CGT, is a 3-legged intersection that allows one direction of travel on the major street to operate under free flow conditions. The opposite major street direction of travel and minor street approach are typically controlled by traffic signals. Let's take a closer look at how a CGT would function for motorists at the intersection of Burnt Store Road and Vincent Avenue. On Burnt Store Road, northbound traffic would proceed through the Vincent Avenue intersection without stopping. Motorists who wish to turn left onto Vincent Avenue from this direction must first stop at the traffic signal before completing their movement. Southbound motorists on Burnt Store Road would have the options of proceeding straight as through traffic or turning right onto Vincent Avenue, just like at a conventional signalized T intersection. From Vincent Avenue, motorists would use the right turn lane to proceed southbound on Burnt Store Road. To turn left onto Burnt Store Road, motorists would use the channelized lane on Burnt Store Road to merge after passing through the traffic signal. Cyclists would either navigate the intersection using crosswalks and pedestrian paths or could follow the same paths as vehicles. Pedestrians would use marked crosswalks to safely cross Vincent Avenue. Benefits of the CGT include improved efficiency and safety. The free flow of northbound traffic on Burnt Store Road allows more green light time to the other movements, reducing delay. Left-turning vehicles from Vincent Avenue would use a channelized receiving lane on Burnt Store Road to merge. The channelization of the left-turning vehicles from Vincent Avenue reduces the potential for angle crashes.
The roadway profile will be elevated approximately 3 feet to account for the high water table in the area and a history of flooding events. The existing 9 cross drains, which include the bridge culvert over Yucca Pens Creek, will be extended or replaced. The culvert elevations and sizes will be appropriately designed to maintain the east to west hydrological flows of the area. A stormwater management system with stormwater ponds and floodplain compensation sites will be provided. This alternative also will replace the existing southbound bridge over Gator Slough Canal with a new bridge structure. The new bridge would be similar to the recently constructed northbound bridge with 11-foot travel lanes, 17-foot inside and 10-foot outside shoulders, and a 14-foot shared use path. The bridge will be of sufficient width to carry 3 lanes in the future. Throughout this study, a no-build alternative is also considered. The no-build alternative assumes that no improvements are made to Burnstore Road through the year 2045, except for routine maintenance. There are advantages and disadvantages to the no-build alternative. Advantages of the no-build alternative include no associated design, construction, or right-of-way acquisition costs, no impacts to the traveling public due to construction, and no impacts to the natural and human environments. Disadvantages include inconsistency with the purpose and need for the project or with local transportation plans, lack of improved multimodal accommodations for bicycles and pedestrians, increased traffic congestion along the corridor, increased potential for crashes due to congestion and intersections, increased evacuation and emergency vehicle response times, and increased vehicle emission pollutants due to higher levels of traffic congestion. The no-build alternative remains a valid option and will continue to be evaluated until the completion of this study. FDOT evaluated environmental and socioeconomic factors relating to proposed widening improvements in accordance with the National Environmental Policy Act of 1969, as amended, and other federal requirements. The evaluation considered the effects of widening Burnstore Road on protected species and habitat, wetlands and floodplains, water quality, stormwater management and permitting, air quality, right-of-way requirements and relocations, contamination, archaeological and historical resources, recreational sites, noise, and farmland. Protected species and habitats are allowed special protection under the Endangered Species Act of 1973, as amended, and Florida statutes. FDOT assessed species within the project limits and through ongoing coordination with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has determined that the proposed project may affect, but is not likely to adversely affect, the existence of certain federally listed threatened or endangered species. The listed species include the wood stork, eastern indigo snake, West Indian manatee, Gulf sturgeon, small-tooth sawfish, and Florida bonneted bat. The FDOT also determined that the project will have no adverse modification or destruction of critical habitat for the small-tooth sawfish, West Indian manatee, and Florida bonneted bat. In addition, the project will have no adverse effect anticipated on the following state-listed threatened or endangered species: gopher tortoise, Florida pine snake, Florida sandhill crane, Florida burrowing owl, little blue heron, reddish egret, tricolored heron, southeastern American kestrel, roseate spoonbill, Sherman's short-tailed shrew, Florida beargrass, and many-flowered grass pink. Coordination with the National Marine Fisheries Service regarding the final status of these species is ongoing. Consultation with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service was completed on February 14, 2023. If the preferred alternative is approved by the Office of Environmental Management, FDOT District 1 will continue to work closely with environmental agencies in future phases, such as design and construction, to meet all environmental permitting requirements. FDOT evaluated wetlands within the project limits in accordance with Executive Order 11990, Protection of Wetlands. The proposed improvements will affect approximately 13.8 acres of wetlands, 0.02 acres of surface waters, and 19.64 acres of other surface waters. The Department will take all practical measures to minimize harm to this area. The Department will mitigate wetland impacts resulting from this project's construction to meet requirements of Florida statutes and the United States Code. The project has been evaluated for potential floodplain involvement in accordance with Executive Order 11988, Floodplain Management. There is no significant change in flood risk, nor is there significant change in the potential for interruption or termination of emergency services or emergency evacuation routes due to flooding. A water quality impact evaluation was performed. The proposed stormwater management facilities will be designed in accordance with the current requirements of the South Florida Water Management District. Results of the environmental contamination screening showed that 2 sites were ranked medium risk and 4 sites were ranked low risk for potential contamination involvement with the project. For the sites that are ranked low for contamination, no further action is required at this time. For the sites with a risk ranking of medium, the FDOT project manager and the district contamination impact coordinator will coordinate on further actions during the design phase that must be taken to address contamination issues. Before construction, specially trained crews will address contamination in these areas as required. Locations of these sites are shown in the concept plans on display tonight. The project is located in an area which is designated attainment for all the national ambient air quality standards under the criteria provided in the Clean Air Act. Therefore, the Clean Air Act conformity requirements do not apply to this project, and no significant impact is expected on air quality. This project is expected to improve traffic flow by adding capacity to relieve congestion, which should reduce operational greenhouse gas emissions. Minimal, short-term air quality effects may be caused from construction of the proposed improvements, such as dust from earthwork or unpaved roads and smoke from open burning. The FDOT will adhere to all state and local regulations and to the standard specifications for road and bridge construction. The study team evaluated effects of traffic noise associated with the proposed improvements consistent with requirements outlined in Title 23, Code of Federal Regulations, Part 772, Procedures for Abatement of Highway Traffic Noise and Construction Noise, and with the FDOT PD&E Manual. Noise-sensitive sites along the project corridor may hear traffic noise levels that approach or exceed noise abatement criteria established by the Federal Highway Administration. While traffic noise abatement was considered as part of the project, no feasible and reasonable measures were identified that can be implemented to abate traffic noise at 5 locations along the corridor. The project team examined the project area for publicly owned properties that may be affected under Section 4F of the Department of Transportation Act of 1966. The Babcock Webb Wildlife Management Area, Yucca Pens Unit, Yucca Pens Preserve, Charlotte Harbor Preserve State Park, and Charlotte Harbor Buffer Preserve are Section 4F resources. These 4 resources meet the conditions of a no Section 4F use, since the project has no permanent acquisition of land from these Section 4F properties, no temporary occupancies of land that are adverse in terms of the statute's preservation purpose, and no proximity impacts which significantly impair the protected functions of the properties. A Cultural Resources Assessment Survey was conducted in accordance with the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966 and Florida statutes. Archaeologists and historians identified 0 archaeological sites and 11 historic resources in the project area. No resources are eligible for listing in the National Register of Historic Places. The State Historic Preservation Officer concurred with this determination, and the project will result in no historic properties affected. As determined by the Natural Resources Conservation Service under the U.S. Department of Agriculture or USDA, the preferred alternative impacts approximately 11.4 acres of farmlands of prime or unique importance. Due to the project effects being below the significance threshold, no further consideration of protection is needed. No additional corridors need to be evaluated, and no additional coordination with the Natural Resources Conservation Service is required. This project is not expected to change future land use patterns on Burnt Store Road. Minimal construction effects are expected. This project will not cause any relocation of families or businesses. All right-of-way acquisition will be conducted in accordance with Florida Statute 339.09 and the Federal Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Act of 1970, commonly known as the Uniform Act. The right-of-way specialists who are supervising this program are here tonight and will be happy to answer your questions. An evaluation matrix showing a detailed comparison of the preferred alternative and the no-build alternative is provided in the project handout and is also on display here this evening. The matrix shows potential effects to the social, cultural, natural, and physical environments and identifies preliminary costs. The estimated costs to widen Burnt Store Road from Van Buren Parkway to the Charlotte County line includes $13.4 million for final design, $2.5 million for mitigation, and $26.5 million for right-of-way acquisition for roadway and stormwater management areas. The total estimated construction cost is $134 million. The cost for construction engineering and inspection is estimated at $13.4 million. The department's preliminary estimate of total project cost is $189.9 million. At this time, the design phase is currently funded in FDOT's adopted 5-year work program. The department anticipates completion of this PD&E study by mid-2025. The study schedule is on display this evening. We encourage you to review project information tonight and provide us your feedback. All comments should be submitted or postmarked by February 7, 2025 to become a part of the formal hearing record. All hearing materials presented tonight are available to the public on the project webpage and will remain posted for your review. The technical documents are also available for review in person at the FDOT District 1 Southwest Area Office, located at 10041 Daniels Parkway, Fort Myers, Florida 33913, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., by appointment only. Phone number 239-225-1900. And the Northwest Regional Library, located at 519 Chiquita Boulevard North, Cape Coral, Florida 33993, Monday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Tuesday 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., Wednesday and Thursday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Friday and Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Phone number 239-533-4700 until February 7, 2025. If you would like to review these materials at the District 1 office, please make an appointment by contacting FDOT's project manager, Stephen Andrews, using the contact information included in your handout. You may also visit the project website at https://swflroads.com/project/43692 for the latest study information, schedule, and upcoming events. This PD&E study is being conducted and completed according to the requirements of the National Environmental Policy Act and other related federal and state laws, rules, and regulations, which will qualify future phases of this project for federal funding, and this hearing was advertised consistent with those requirements. Please see the statute display board for all other applicable requirements. This hearing is also conducted in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 and with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and related statutes. Anyone who feels he or she has been discriminated against with regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status may complete one of the forms located at the sign-in table and mail the completed form to the address listed on the poster board. And finally, an FDOT safety moment. Move over, Florida. It is the law. The Florida Department of Transportation and Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles encourages drivers to remember to slow down or move over when they approach emergency, service, or disabled vehicles. In 2024, there were approximately 170 crashes caused by motorists failing to move over in Florida. When you see lights, move over, Florida. FDOT thanks you for making safety a continued priority. Thank you for your interest and participation in the Burnt Store Road Project Development and Environment Study public hearing, and for taking the time to join us this evening.